Shalom. First off, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Yahweh being the true name for every Father. Yahushai being the name for his only begotten Son, who the Lord eagerly calls God, and Jesus Christ. We give double honor to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, touches truth and will well. Sight just to hope for that person's truth and honesty and sincerity. And this is Brother Yahushua, because you know this is Spirit Power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. And this lesson is going into basically somewhat of a testimony, but also to edify some of the things that's to get ready to come on a massive scale to this place called Babylon the Great, because the experience that I had at this place was highly spiritual. What you're looking at on this photo is the famous Stanley Hotel, and I didn't know anything about this place when I went. You know, I was just there in the state on vacation, kind of visiting. And my father recommended, us to go visit a historical hotel that's kind of like a museum. And I'm like, I'm all about museums. So I agreed to go. But if I would have known what this place really was, the way I think, I would have never went in the first place. Because it turns out this place is extremely haunted. It's a real life haunted, location. And through the spirit, we know by edifying, there's no such thing as your spirits when you die just lingering around on earth. When you die, your spirit goes straight to the Heavenly Father. The things that's left behind is basically a copy of your spirit, and they're actual physical demons. So this place was extremely demonically possessed. And when I go here and show you some more of the photos of the things that I saw, it'll make sense. But see, this has Esau, Edom written all over it, because Esau, the devil, whom the Bible speaks of, in the modern day today, the Edomites are the so-called white people today, okay? They're obsessed with things like this, man. They will go out their way and pay big money to go in places that they hear about is a demonic possession or is quote-unquote haunted. They'll pay big money to go experience that. Because they don't have fear of the Lord, and they don't understand what they're playing with. All right, and one of the things that makes this place the most famous is because the guy that wrote that made the movie The Shining, okay, he goes by the name of Stephen King, and most of y'all know who that is. It's a very famous celebrity that writes the most terrifying horror movies that you can watch. He received the inspiration to create the movie called The Shining, which was a pretty scary horror movie back in the day, and still to the day it's pretty scary. He got inspired to write that from staying at this hotel and staying in room number 17. Room number 17 at the hotel is extremely haunted. And he was told it was haunted when he went to go stay there. But this dude stayed there any damn way. Here's a picture of the door of it. Okay. So you had the balcony view. And this dude, he made a statement when he stayed there. And he said that he had the worst nightmare of his life. Stephen King, the guy that creates horror movies, said that he had the worst nightmare of his life staying at this hotel. Why? Because Esau, Edom, has done a lot of heavy demonic stuff at this place, man. So the owner of the hotel is his last name is Stanley, and I took a couple of pictures of some of the artifacts and things that's in there to kind of give you a brief background about who this guy was and what he was about. Okay, here's a picture of the man right here, F.O. Stanley. All right. Yeah, he was supposed to die of tuberculosis. He's an Edomite. And he ended up going to the mountains because he was told that it would improve his health. And he went there and he was dying further and given less than 6 months to live. His wife, however, was a witch. And she had a lot of architecture and little signs and symbols built all over the house that go into witchcraft, such as the Baphomet. Now, because he had tuberculosis, they weren't able to have children, so they called this the fertility symbol, which we know is not. This is the Baphomet, man. This is a spiritual demon, Satan, and she had these put in every single room of the hotel, or above the fireplaces, man. Okay, another interesting part of this room, or this building, the hotel, is this chick was so involved with demons and getting plagued with spirits that she had a hallway installed, a bunch of mirrors, because she believed that if a demon or a spirit saw its own reflection, then it would go and cross over to the other side because it would recognize that it's dead. So she had a ton of mirrors installed and had all the portraits of owners and things like that also hung up. Very creepy, man. And the energy could be felt while I was in there that something was off. You could feel a sinister energy, and I believe this is her one of her portraits right here. And just chick was evil, man. And she did some type of sacrifice to allow her husband to continue living after tuberculosis. There's some more pictures here. Okay, and this is the thing that Esau Edom gets involved with. Okay, because he is the left hand side of the spirit realm. Edomites thrive in that. Why? Because they're not chosen. The right hand side, it goes into the Israelites. They thrive under the worship and practicing following Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. But according to the heathen, they do the opposite of that. Another fact about this place. All right, so here's the room that Stephen King stayed in, 217. And again, Stephen King's a guy, if you've heard about the movie The Shining, you've heard a lot of movies Stephen King has written. He got inspired to write that movie from staying in this room. And look at the hallway, how creepy it is, man. That whole hallway and this whole area right here, man, have been blown up from a freak accident, from a gas leak. And one of the ladies that worked there all her life was involved in it. And when it blew up, she survived. Okay, but there was shrapnel that was shot, really, really far away, like miles away, man. And I took a picture of the shrapnel right here. All right, so her name was Miss Wilson. Here's a story. Legend says that Miss Elizabeth Wilson, who was hurled through the floor of room 217 to the dining room below in the 1911 explosion, was taken care of by F.O. Stanley. He was known to look after his friends and employees. After Miss Wilson's hospitalization in Longmont with 2 broken ankles and multiple bumps and bruises, it is said that Mr. Stanley took care of her bills and asked her to come back to the hotel when she recovered. As the story goes, she is thought to have come back and worked at the hotel until she passed away many years later. And the day that she did pass away, okay, after that, the next day, hotel guests reported her coming there, checking in, going to the room, making up the beds, cleaning the room, and then leaving, right? But they didn't know she had already died the night before. So they straight up saw that spirit come right up in there, man. And this whole hotel building in the basement is built on quartz, which quartz basically absorbs energy from living creatures. So them demons get a lot of energy, get supercharged, and manifest themselves, man. But more evidence of witchcraft and things like that. I'll go into this. His wife had those installed in every room, and there's a lot of other symbolism in here. I mean, it's just full of a very sinister feeling, a lot of death, man. This is why a lot of scary movies have been filmed at this exact location. You can see the chair there. Slovakia. So you have that. Let's see some other photos here. I just want to show y'all how eerie this place really was, man. Your spiritual realm really does exist, and there is a such thing as a left hand side. And you got to really ask yourself, if demons exist, why wouldn't angels exist too? Why wouldn't the right hand side exist? If clearly, oh, Salakia, demons exist, man. Now going on further here, I'm gonna bring out some scriptures to show a couple more photos here. This is room 217. This is where Stephen King resided, and there's a black and white photo here. All right, so here's the inside of the room here. They wouldn't allow you in there because this damn devil is so weird and sick. Even though this place is clearly haunted, they still allow guests to come in there and check in and sleep in that haunted ass room. But this is what it looks like from the photo. Okay, and this is from the 20th century, so you can see there. So they allow their guests is still there. Why? Because that adds to that demonic energy. Esau Edom, he likes that type of crap, man. They built tunnels all throughout the bottom of the hotel, which they required their employees that took care of the rooms to travel, so they wouldn't be, so the guests wouldn't see them. Look how creepy these tunnels are, man. And took a picture of the courts that the hotel was built on top of. So that's a massive amount of left-hand side energy that's being stored there. All right, and one other interesting part about this photo here, this is of the hallway in which Stephen King had the worst nightmare of his life, where he's seeing his son getting wrapped by a fire hose, basically like a snake, and like squeezing him and choking him to death. Just a lot of demonic energy, man. Like I said, this whole room area exploded from a gas leak, and they had to rebuild it. Many people have died there, man. And I believe that the spirit elites are still there, you know, doing a lot of spiritual demonic sacrifices. It's creepy ass elevator, man. So that's enough of that. I'm going to get into some scriptures here that talk about it. This is the book of Leviticus 19:31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am Yahweh, your God. So you're not supposed to be involved in anything that's trying to talk to or communicate the spiritual realm. So you shouldn't be going out your way to psychics and things like that to try to talk to somebody that's dead, or go on a thrill-seeking mission to go to a place that's extremely possessed by demons and try to interact with them. That's going off, man. And like I said, if I would have known what this place was about, I personally would have stayed the hell away from there. But the spirit had it to where I needed to go there to see this, man, because this is what Esau Edom is involved in. Okay, and it says, and when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God, for the living to the dead? Right, you're supposed to seek after the Lord instead of seeking after, you know, people that are involved in witchcraft, which is very heavy in this place called America. So all on different corners and different parts of the city, you'll see that. You'll see psychics. And there's another photo that I want to show y'all real quick, because I almost forgot it. I took a picture of that shit, man. Bear with me. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. So in this place, look what the hell they got set up here. A resident psych. So you have a resident psychic there, which is basically a person that quote unquote can read your mind or tell the future. That's a fucking witch. Or if a man that does it, it's a wizard. So this should tell you the level of witchcraft. And it's no coincidence that in the last days, when I went there, an Edomite lady's like, she mentioned the lady's name. She asked for her specifically. Is so-and-so here? And the dude was like, no, she quit. I wonder why. She had been there for years. But see, we are at the end, and the Lord is turning things up. A lot of demons are manifesting themselves. Like I know the elder at GMS Denver camp, he said that he encountered or seen Yila de Noche, which is the skinwalker, which is like a demon, man. And we've been telling y'all that the Lord is about to open up these realms, and y'all about to see physical apparitions and things like that. So this lady probably quit because the Lord probably jacking her up, man. But you had that Edomite lady was asking about it because she actually wanted to go get her reading done. You see? This is the type of society we live in, the people are involved with. This is the book of Isaiah 19:3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fall in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they that seek to their idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So all that stuff, man, you can't be getting involved in. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy 18:10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that use divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. All right, so there's a lot of things out there that this is all tied to. The subliminity, a lot of people don't know what they're really getting involved in. You got these zodiac signs and things like that. A lot of that stuff goes into observing of times and stars and things like that. That goes into a lot of witchcraft. And you got to be careful with it. Now, everything is done in balance because some of that can be done unrighteous, such as the tribe of Issachar. They knew the constellations very well. And they used it to navigate, and they also used it to understand, the times that they were living in different times and seasons and things like that. Then that part is okay. But once you get into it because you're trying to communicate with spirits, you're going the hell off. Second Kings 21:6. And he made his son pass through the fire and observed times and used enchantments and dealt with familiar spirits and wizards. He wrought much wickedness in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him to anger, so that these things pissed the Lord off. So it's no coincidence that that part of the hotel had a freak accident where that hotel blew the hell up, man. They went bankrupt multiple times. The Lord constantly was judging that place. It's a lot of wickedness that goes on in that hotel. But see, Esau Edom's going to get what he asked for. Because there's another scriptures are getting ready to bring out, goes into the plague of darkness. There's 10 plagues of Egypt that happened in the ancient world. And the book of Wisdom of Solomon gives you the details of the specific plague called the plague of darkness that can be felt. All right. This is, I'll start at verse 1 here. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Let's see, we're in chapter 17, verse 1. For great are thy judgments, and cannot be expressed. Therefore unnurtured souls have erred. For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, lay there exiled from eternal providence. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. That goes into seeing ghosts, demons. Verse 4, for neither might the corner that held them keep them from the fear. So these people were so scared that they backed themselves into the corner of a room. Could you imagine being that terrified? And you get in a ball, you ball down in a corner of a room, like you see people doing that stuff on some movies and things like that. When all they can do is just kind of cover their face, they cry in the corner of a room. That's how terrified these people were, man. It says, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them. So they had demons and stuff all types of crazy sounds all around in the room, man. It says, this is what the Lord can do to you as punishment when you fuck with shit you ain't got no business doing. It says, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances. That also goes into dreams. Is that not what happened to Stephen King? He said he had the worst nightmare of his life staying in that haunted ass room in a hotel. Verse 5. No power of the fire might give them light, which is that goes into the scriptures. We'll talk about the plague of the darkness, how even the lights and the candles they try to light, nothing can light up the room. It said neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night. So this was a long ass night, man, of being tortured with that darkness. And like the scripture says, this is darkness that can be felt, physically feeling demons and hands on you, man, grabbing you through the night. It says, only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. Man, that's judgment. Verse 7, as for the illusions of art magic, they were put down. Their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. For they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at. So all these magicians that think they can explain everything that was going on, they're the same people today that say, hey, ain't no such thing as an exorcism. That stuff is fake. You know? Those are the people that talk shit about things that's clearly evident that exists. And it says what? Then themselves end up being fear, because they got plagued with the darkness. It says for verse 9, it says, for though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that passed by and hissing serpents, they died for fear. Literally got scared to death, denying that they saw the air which could of no side be avoided. And so these people were getting so plagued and jacked up. From an outsider looking in that didn't get plagued with that darkness, he's looking at a psychopath, a guy that's convulsing because he's getting jacked up with demons. But the regular dude can't see the demons that's fucking him up. So that's why when you see somebody get demonically possessed, they get to bending over backwards, walking up walls, walking up stairs, crawling on all fours, because they're literally being tortured right here. We're reading about what's going on in their minds. So everyone else is looking at what's the fuck wrong with this crazy ass dude. It's crazy as fuck. Let's get out of here. But some of those that do see, they just straight up died, man. That's how horrifying it is. It says, for wickedness condemned by her own witness is very timorous, and being pressed with conscience always forecasteth grievous things. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succors which reason offereth, and the expectation from within being less counteth the ignorance more than the cause which bringeth the torment. Okay, so hey, if you know what's going on, you know right from wrong, you're not really going to be plagued with all that type of stuff, man. And you can expect what to happen, and you can understand why certain things are happening to certain people. Verse 14, but they sleeping the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of the inevitable hell, were partially vexed with monstrous apparitions, and partially fainted, their heart failing them, for a sudden fear and not looked for came upon them. So these are extreme amount of night terrors, man. So all this type of stuff that's going on in this hotel, hey man, it's causing a lot of demonic energy. And now they just turned it into a tourist attraction pretty much. But yet, this place is still festered with demons. So they put all the mirrors up in this room to try to catch demons themselves or get them to go to the other room. But she tried everything she could to try to escape all the punishment. She was getting tortured. Selling your soul to Satan ain't no joke, man. How creepy this place is, man. But we ain't seen nothing yet because the plague of darkness is coming back. So, hey, you people better get right, because that's one plague you don't want to be a part of, man. Don't be like this dude Stephen King and think you could go untouched and be cool with just a little nightmare. No, it's gonna be way worse than that. So Lord's will, this lesson is edifying. I'm gonna close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles. Great millstone, Tasha's truth and will well. Salutation, hopefully that puts your truth and honesty. Sincerity. Shalom.